I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Mayor Davies.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bogenforth. Here. Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Powell. Here. Councilmember Chung. Here. All are present.
Thank you. If we can all stand for the invocation we given by our pastor, Nick Smith, and stand and remain standing after for a pledge. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor.
In Numbers 6, Moses tells Aaron, this is how you're supposed to bless your people. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. God, we thank you for the city of Tehachapi. Lord, we thank you for entrusting us, Lord, with this place. Lord, we thank you for the men and women, Lord, who are represented here, God. Lord, we pray that you would give wisdom, that you would give grace, that you would give mercy. God, that you would just bring prosperity, Lord, to this city. God, that you would bring protection. Lord, that you would just bring your supernatural blessing upon this place. God, for the matters, Lord, that are at hand today, God, I pray, Lord, that you would just lead us, Lord, guide us, Lord, so that we can follow after you. We thank you, Lord, for this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Councilmember Smith, will you read the pledge, please?
You know, I downloaded it. Where did that go?
Okay, I'm going to turn the time over to our chief, Chief Stanbridge.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. It's a pleasure to be up here tonight and get to swear in a new police officer. Officer Lacombe comes to us from Bakersfield Police Department. He is a resident of Tehachapi, and we're very fortunate to have him join our department. And we look forward to the great things he's going to bring to this community. So, Ashley, would you come up and administer the oath of office, please?
You just raise your right hand. Yes, sir, I agree. I, Dakota Lacombe, do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
I do.
Congratulations.
Now the fun part. You want to introduce your family and tell us who's going to put your badge on you today?
Hello everyone, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here as well. And I'd like to introduce my son, Nadas Lacombe. So if I can get him in the back, he's going to come up and pinch my badge, in the badge.
Come on up, buddy. Okay, I heard you've been practicing. Are you ready? All right.
Good job.
Yeah.
Please, thank you. Thanks, buddy.
You want to bring your wife? Yeah. Come on.
I'll give you a copy. Copy picture.
Yeah, come on. You can get the picture. We'll get you the copies. Don't worry about that.
That's all. Thank you, guys.
You got shift low tide.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's for the commitment. Commitment to the process.
Thank you. Thank whoever you want.
So you have to indulge me, I'm gonna take up a couple minutes of the meeting here tonight. So, next up, we are going to do 2 promotions. We're going to be promoting from police officer to sergeant. If I can call it Sergeant Mike Adams. So Sergeant Adams, as everybody knows, is a veteran with the department. He's done a lot of great things for the city and for the agency, an outstanding investigator. And, you know, even me as a chief who's been around for 26 years, I look for an opportunity to tap into his knowledge whenever I get the opportunity, because he is, you know, a wealth of knowledge as it relates to case law, search warrants, a lot of things that, you know, I don't touch on a daily basis, so I confirm a lot of things with him. Recently, we were invited to the Antelope Valley Law Enforcement Officer Banquet, and Mike Adams served as our Officer of the Year. That was last Friday, so we had the opportunity to present him with a plaque and say a few words about him down there and for him to be recognized for all of his achievements. So with that being said, Sergeant Adams is promoted officially, and who do you want to assume that one?
On my way.
Call her up. No time. Okay, next up we have Sergeant Jeff Packbush. So Sergeant Packabush has over 20 years of law enforcement experience. He's been with California Highway Patrol, Arvin Police Department, and he's been with the Tehachapi Police Department for a few years now. And for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to meet Jeff, he has an outstanding wealth of knowledge as it relates to investigation, traffic collisions, and he takes it upon himself to help with scheduling, mentoring. He's been a field training officer. He's helped get our cadets through the academy by helping with their physical fitness program and everything. So Jeff's a go-to guy. Just like Adam's, very instrumental part of our agency, one that I appreciate when they come to work every day and help me sleep at night. So with that being said, Jeff, are you ready?
Yes.
Please rise for that.
My wife, yeah.
Hey, you can let it hang there. He can fix it. Yeah. He's in practice.
Give her a kiss.
Little military hat. Can't do anything.
Keith, if I say something. It's really cool that you're all here. I appreciate you, Dakota, my neighbor, so seeing that Bakersfield police car every time I come home, I don't have to see that anymore. But welcome, it's awesome. I appreciate all you guys, all your service to our city, to your families. It's just awesome. I had a friend of mine was here last time we had a promotion, and he walked in and there was like, I don't know, I think maybe it was when you, Chief, when you came on board, we had officers from all over here. And he walked in, he goes, "What's all the officers?" And I said, "Hey, we have a force here." But just to let you guys know, I really appreciate all your service. I'm a wannabe, I'm a volunteer with the Kern County Sheriff's Department, but I really do appreciate each and every one of you. and I appreciate each and every one of your families for what you do for our communities, and I want to just appreciate you again.
This, Mayor Davies, Council, I'll get things kicked off, and I'm gonna ask Chief Sanders to join me. We're gonna ask that, Mayor Davies, Council, that you proclaim next week, beginning May 12th through the 18th, National Police Week. National Police Week was originally proclaimed in 1962 by President Kennedy for May 15th as Police Officers Memorial Day. It was a time to honor and remember members of law enforcement who gave their lives in the line of duty. Today, we also honor and give thanks to the men and women who put their lives on the line for us each and every single day, and it's now National Police Week. Tehachapi, in its history, has lost 2 police officers in the line of duty. Constable Thomas Godwin was shot and killed October 22nd, 1876, in a Tehachapi business by a man who held a grudge regarding the previous arrest. Chief William Terrell Mantu was shot and killed August 11th, 1968, while pursuing a kidnapped rape suspect. The men and women of the Tehachapi Police Department all took an oath to protect and serve our community, as they do each and every single day. We ask the council to recognize our Tehachapi Police Department and all the police officers across the country and proclaim May 12th through the 18th National Police Week in Tehachapi. And Chief? So within the next few days, members of the Tehachapi Police Department are going to go out to the grave site of these 2 gentlemen that lost their lives in the line of duty. And we are going to make sure the grave sites are clean, and we are going to place flowers on those grave sites. And starting this year, that will be an anniversary done every year by members of the Tehachapi Police Department. So we've had a lot of things going on with the Tehachapi Police Department in the last, few months. As you can see, we've done a reorganization. We recently did a team building workshop with Lyle Martin, former Bakersfield PDC. And as you can see, we're hiring, we're promoting, and this is just the start of things. We have a great command staff and supervisory structure in place, and we've got dedicated officers in this community. And we're going to be getting the best training, best vehicles, and everything we can to keep the service to what the public and the city of Tehachapi demands and what they deserve. Thank you.
Come on, guys. All PPD, get up here.
No hiding in the back. No hiding in the back. Squeeze in. Yes, sir. You gotta do the sideways.
Okay, we're gonna run at this angle for the photograph.
We're going this way.
I'll squeeze in the front.
We're gonna do that. Okay, everybody gonna do that.
Okay, all eyes this way, please. that was a lot of fun. That was awesome. Okay, moving on to item 4, consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions, if comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with the opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before the action is taken. Staff recommendations are shown in caps. Do we have anybody in the audience who would like to have anything removed from consent? Council? Motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chung? Yes. Councilmember Pollack? Yes. Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hogenford? Yes. Mayor Davis?
Yes.
5-0 vote, motion carries.
Item 5, public comment. Do we have anybody that needs to bring anything before the council? Item 10, Development Service Director report, Mr. Schlosser, EK Theater is here.
Good evening, Mayor Davies, council members. First item I have for you tonight, sorry, let me try to move a smaller laptop. Talk to you about an exciting item we've been able to pull together and present to you tonight. So we'd like tonight for you to have your permission to proceed with the design and construction of a small expansion of the BK Theater. So as background, following the restoration of the BK Theater in 2006, we knew we were restoring a small community theater, and we made a lot of design decisions at that time about what we could fit in that small footprint. And we feel like it was a wonderful addition to town. But very quickly after Tehachapi Community Theater started doing productions there, we heard back from them that the stage area was pretty confined. It was tough to do those theater productions, and it made for some really interesting and amazing sets, quite frankly, as they engineered their way out of those solutions. But for a long time we've known that they've needed extra space in there, and that would be a big advantage to their ability to deliver, to continue to deliver, frankly, what I think is just one of the neatest components of our little town is that we have this theater group and we have that beautiful theater, and that they do such a wonderful job at bringing production after production. I'm a personal fan and enjoy going with my family, so I'm pleased tonight to tell you that we set about looking at whether we could make an addition to the back of the building that would be affordable and that would help improve the back of stage area. And so working with a company we use a fair amount for engineering, Four Creeks Incorporated, we discovered an ability to put together a little 300 square foot expansion, a 20 by 15 rectangular wood frame addition to the back of the theater. We're proposing to construct that with matching stucco and a complementary roof line, so hopefully it'll look like it blends into the building as if it's been there. And by the way, back of the building, of course, is the east side of the building facing into the parking area there at Centennial Plaza. So we budgeted or prepared a budget for that work. We expect the construction cost for that to be about $100,000. There are some utilities that we have to work around in that area, as well as the different trades that would be employed. Thankfully, TCPA has let us know that they have saved some funds of their own, and so we spoke to them about bringing this idea to you, which is to build the shell out using city funds, and then to turn that shell over to TCPA, who could then use their own funds to develop the inside in a fashion that fits their needs. I'm certainly not your guy for deciding how to line that space out. And so they were very receptive to this addition and excited about the possibilities. So again, tonight then, my recommendation is that you, by the way, this was not a budgeted improvement when we passed the budget or the mid-year for this last year, so that's why I'm here tonight to ask you to make this extra budgetary addition in order to advance this project. Ideally, timelines for us would be to initiate design. I have Four Creeks ready to go to initiate design tomorrow, and then hopefully get into construction by fall. So with that, I recommend that you approve the budget allocation of $120,000. So that's the $100,000 with a 20% contingency from Measure F funds, and authorize city staff to complete the design and solicit bids as needed in accordance with the public contract code. That concludes my report.
Do we have any comments from the public regarding the
We
BK?
received 2 call cards. The first one is from Amy Webster.
First of all, thank you so much for even considering this, for thinking the thought. We feel your support and we feel it and we really appreciate it. I feel like we've had your support for a long time before this too. If we did this, we could have bigger productions, which would mean better shows for our own community, and also this would be a tourism thing. This would bring people from local communities and other places to our little town. They could come and see a show, go to a vineyard, stay in a hotel. That would bring in a lot of people. For our last show, we had people that came from the LA area just to see the show. So it's already happening, but it was happening more. Also, more children could be involved. If we had more space backstage, right now, the backstage is about this big. This is the width, okay? So if you imagine that that's like back there with about 15 children, which we've done before, but not easily. If we had more space back there, we could involve even more children, which would give them an opportunity that they need for growth in a way that they don't have in any other way in Tehachapi. Really, it's a very unique experience. My daughter did about half a dozen shows with TCC when she was growing up, and she has never regretted it. She's been so thankful for the things that it's taught her. It's prepared her for job interviews, for college, for her career, all of that. It comes in. It all comes in the theater. It's also something different to do in Tehachapi. We're trying to have a lot more things here, I think, and this is really something unique and different. And better shows would make it even more so. So those are my main points. That it would give us bigger productions, it would bring in more tourism, and it would give kids something that they need. And we would be able to involve even more children if we had more space back there for more children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Chris Morris.
Hi everyone, how are you today? Great, great. Thanks so much for allowing us to be part of this and for the city to put this on the agenda tonight. I have to tell you, I've been part of PCC since 2014, and there has been such a growth in the last probably 4 or 5 years. And a lot of it I think really has to do with how PCC has really been working with the community and the city. And everything that you guys have really been open to us and listening and being part of. And you've given us opportunities that we didn't know that we could actually have, not because you guys haven't been supportive, but because we haven't made that initiative. And now in the last 4 or 5 years, we really have stepped out of our, I guess, comfort zone, got up off our laurels a little bit, and we've regrouped. And this board that we have now for CCPA has really found quite the relationship with the city. And I have to say thank you very, very much for that. Because what you guys do shows us that we have to meet that level. We have to give back to the community just as much as you're giving to the community. And with the PCCA board now, for people like Amy Webster and Dolores, who's never been on stage before, who just got on stage, and for Katrina back there, who, this is her first real time on stage, and now she's going to be an assistant director. For David Simpson, who's a crazy man, but we love him, For the people like David Faber and Lisa and McKenzie, and Vivette Lund, who's our treasurer and watches our fish and pennies, all the way down the line, we cannot do it. We are a small village, but you are the bigger village, and we are so happy to be part of it. And so if you can find a way to make this happen for us, I promise each and every one of you, you will not be disappointed. You will not. And that's a promise I make to you. I've been in theater, gosh, ever since I was in my mom's womb. And I know that theater makes no money, but this theater does, because of you. This theater does because we want to do better. We want to be part of the community. We want to be part of building life. We want to be part of people who are retired, have nothing to do. They come to the UK Theater to be ushers. They come to the UK Theater to think. They come just to sit and watch a fantastic production that James Carhart is presenting. We do this because you have opened those doors, and we thank you so very much from the bottom of our heart. And we hope that you will allow this to happen, because that promises will be provided. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you.
That's all cards I received.
Okay. Do we have anybody else, any more
Do I want this to happen? Heck yes. The only problem I'm having is, I was on a fire hose on that back wall. And I'd like to know if that back wall was compromised in any way, shape, or form. Because I know that got very, very hot. That's all I've got to say. And maybe you might have to raise it a little bit in case something really comes into effect.
Thank you. Do you have any other public comment? So we need a motion to, council, I'm sorry, council. Thank you.
I'm delighted to see some progress in that area. When I came here in 1972, I'm surprised that the BK is still standing. And I also volunteer as an usher almost at every play and thoroughly enjoy myself. I see my students back there, which I've never thought that Mr. Franco would be the lead role in the last performance. So it did my heart well that he has progressed so well. So things like that really mean a lot to me. So.
The BK Theater also plays an economic impact in our downtown area. Because what we were talking about earlier, the bread and butter of the businesses, our local residents who come, they enjoy a meal or go get wine and charcuterie board at Stray Reed before they come to the event. And so it really does have a positive impact on our downtown economic businesses, small businesses that enjoy it. It's wonderful looking at this beautiful lights that Public Works put up and going, to see it. It's wonderful.
I'm very happy that we are putting this forward, and thanks for getting this to a point where we can afford it and we can make it happen. It was not an easy task engineering-wise.
It's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, there's a lot of utilities back there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's gonna work, and we just want everyone in the community to know that part is alive and well in Tehachapi, and this is a major part of it.
Also, on the last performance, I was surprised at the set, how well done.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It was amazing. I thought, how did they get that up there? They don't have space. And I see the performance, the actors and actresses out in the front of the building, and hopefully they don't have to stay out in the cold before they go in. I would love that.
They do.
Still have to? Oh, anyway, maybe one of these days we'll get some other expansion, so anyway.
I would like to also petition. So I have witnessed when I first moved in this town, that like in the middle of the town there was a little spot that's barn. It's a barn like, and I said, what is that? And anyways, I had witnessed that the city did a wonderful project, not only eliminated the lights in the middle of the town, but also created a jam. And I remember that getting involved with the grant and all, how we're going to do additional funding, this and that, but it came out to be such a wonderful project. And, we all know that culture exposes not only at a big town, so we do have this little jam that, we can enjoy and be able to say we do have a theater in town the best day. And another thing that I would like to mention, since I'm from the financial background, this is such a wonderful little city that we're such a very blessed city that be able to afford this kind of project. I do know that there are many other cities not be able to do this. Not to mention the necessary projects that they have to kind of ignore. So I do think that this is such a wonderful job, and making an improvement to our little jam is very happy project.
I like bringing you guys easy decisions, so hopefully
I'd like to add my part to it. Amy and Jonathan are good friends of mine, and you guys did a great job. I'll tell you what, that was so much fun that night. My wife told me she used to go there when she was a little girl, and she watched movies there at the BK Theater when she was a little gone to a couple plays now, and I'll tell you what, it is so neat. There was a couple that was from Santa Barbara that sat behind us and we were talking. And she was just like, they'd make that drive anytime to come over here, and they'd spend the weekend. They did some wine tasting, and then they went to the show, and then they were going to go back the next day out to more wine growers out in Cummings Valley. So I've seen it firsthand what it does to for our community. And the smiles it brought to my wife and to Amy and Jonathan and the rest of the crew. I'm sorry I don't know all your names, but yeah, back there. But you guys did such an awesome job. Just thank you so much for what you do for us, and hopefully we'll keep it going. More plays. Okay. If we don't have any other comments.
Get your star crowns, you guys.
Yeah.
They're only $1. That's my favorite job, by the way.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposal.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chung? Yes. Councilmember Powell? Yes. Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hildenford?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
5-0, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 11, Assistant City Manager reports, Waste Management, no organic service and source recycling.
All right, thank you, Mayor Davies. The council's aware we've been going through this complex process of complying with SB 1383, the state mandate requiring curbside organic recycling, a bunch of other milestones as well to ensure the diversion of organic materials from the landfill. The council also recently approved a new franchise agreement with WM and with new rates for additional service and all their curbside and commercial waste and recycling services. So staff and with the city and WM have met to discuss really an information-heavy rollout plan for residents to include some community presentations like here this evening, mailed information, and some other literature you'll be communicating in the coming weeks as curbside service for organic carts is scheduled to start the week of July 8th. Attached to the agenda tonight is a sample of the trifold brochure that will be bagged and tied to each new organics cart, and you can see WM brought some shiny floor models out here tonight, so let everybody salivate over those. But we're going to start delivering the organics bins, the carts over there with the green lids the week of June 17th. And so tonight we have our partners from WM. We have Ashley Cortez and Frank Vasquez are here, and they have some visual aids and some things to show about source separate recycling when it comes to organics. So, and a presentation as well. So we get that on.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. Thank you for having us today. You're one of our first stops on our trash collection tour here in the city of Tehachapi. We're on a little trip trying to hit every outlet to kind of get the education and outreach out into the community so there are no surprises when it comes, June 17th and those carts start going out. We want the public to be fully aware of what they're receiving, so we're trying to get the word out any way we can. So we thought this was a great way to kick it off. And so basically what's coming is your brand new organic container. You'll see it right over here. Beautiful, I know, it's so beautiful.
Are we gonna have anybody going to pop out of it?
I know.
She wanted to get in earlier.
Yeah, so basically this one over here, the gray body with the green lid, that's going to be everyone's new organic container. So it'll consist of putting your food scraps in there. So your eggshells, coffee grinds, when you're cooking your meals, you have, leftover produce, any food scraps would go into this container, along with yard waste material. So grass, leaves, tree trimming, bush trimming, all that, and it'll get commingled into that organic part. There's so much to say about that one. I know there's a lot of hesitancy to get the program going, but I want you to know it can be done. The first step is really, and we'll talk about this in a future slide, but creating a successful program within your kitchen. You have to set something up in your kitchen or you won't do it. And so it's vital to just kind of have another container. I brought some examples that I'll show to you guys in a second, but that's the new beauty that's coming to the neighborhood is your third container. I want to reiterate that this was an unfunded mandate proposed by the state of California, so, you know, it's put upon us as the ratepayers to take the burden of this new container, and so, it's coming to your neighborhood, and, we have education, like Corey said, that'll be attached to the cart. You have samples. It goes over everything you need to know. It'll have this kind of detail as far as what goes in each container. It'll have service schedules, things like that. It will be serviced on your trash day. So just, you'll have 2 carts out on those weeks. I know recycling's every other week. So some weeks you'll have 3 carts out on the curb, and other weeks it'll just be your trash and organic. So just we want to keep that in mind. And as always, I put on here recycling. It's always good to have reminders that you shouldn't put any plastic bags into your recycling. We don't want that in the organics either, but I know we still get people that have a habit of bagging their recyclables, and we want to remind everyone to just keep them loose. Like if you're going to dump them, just empty them loosely into your recycling cart. Please do not bag them, and keep it to bottles, cans, paper, cardboard, glass, things like that. And then your trash, so hopefully by implementing this 3rd container, you should see a difference in your trash. I know if you do it properly, people, I talked to Corey about it, he's less than like 2 bags a week of his trash, just in, you know, paper plates, because it is food soil paper products, like I mentioned, that's a big key component that we have a lot, is paper plates. Napkins, paper towels, like any of that stuff in your kitchen. The good paper plates that you're gonna use are actually like the cheaper, flimsy ones. To be honest, if we don't want like the coated stuff, but to keep the paper plates, you could put all those into your organic container. So just keep that in mind. But it should lower. Like I said, if you do it correctly, you should see a decrease in your trash generation, because now everything's getting sorted as it should be. And as a reminder, this is all your organics are going to the Tehachapi landfill where it's tipped, and then they transfer it up to Mount Vernon, and they make that into compost and mulch, and that goes back into our farming, and eventually it'll come back into our community here in Tehachapi for, you know, landscaping projects, park projects, compost giveaways. So we'll work closely with the city as we get going on the program, get people using it, making sure it's clean. So as we get to that point, we'll be able to bring that compost material back into the community, which is nice. So they'll have a full circle kind of usability on that. The next thing is just a timeline. So like I said, we're on our outreach tour right now. We're kind of hitting everything. We'll be doing that May, June, and July. The week of June 17th is when carts will start being delivered. So the container right here with the green lid, those will start going out the week of June 17th. And we gave ourselves 2 weeks, but we anticipate that could be less. So just have your container, but keep in mind that it will not get serviced until the week of July 8th. So don't start using it June 17th, because we won't be servicing it for 2-3 weeks after. So we just want to get those out. We're giving ourselves plenty of time to get those out into the community. And then the week of July 8th, we're going to start that service. We didn't start it July 1st because of the Independence Day holiday. The schedule's going to be thrown off a day for that week. So we didn't want to create any confusion on the first go-around of service. So we pushed that back to the week of July 8th. Sorting tips. So I brought different things. So basically, you can use paper bags. So I always like that because you can put the paper bag full of the food material in your kitchen straight into the container. Another option is they sell these kind of pails now. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them a lot of places, but they're food waste pails, and you keep that, you know, under your sink or wherever it's easier, accessible for you. And when you're cooking and stuff, you just put that material into this pail. You fill it up, and then you would empty the contents into your cart. Other tips we have, in Kern County, they actually let you use compostable bags. They do have to be a certain specification, so you would have to look and make sure they are ASTM G6400 certified. I know that's why I have to look at it. But I always recommend and suggest train yourself just not to bag it. I mean, if we can get any plastic material, I mean, I know they say it's compostable, it's biodegradable, but I would rather just all train ourselves to think that it needs to just be loose like it just needs to be the food material. But if people have concerns about that, you are able to buy these. You could get them on Amazon. You can get like, if there's different pricing. I'm sure eventually as the program kicks off, you'll see them at Walmart, or we can work with them to get them in stores locally. But that is an option. For County Rental does accept those. But like I said, I highly recommend training yourself not to get attached to these bags, and just kind of place these, line these containers with paper towels. If you have shred paper, you could put that in here to kind of soak up the moisture and the liquid from the food waste. You can do that and put that in your pail, and then empty it all into your organic container. As far as smells, real quick, people sprinkle a little baking soda in there to mitigate odors. You can wait. I know people freeze their leftovers. They could wait closer to service day and then put the leftovers in the day before your cart's going to be serviced. I know that's what I do. And I know people will freeze their stuff, keep it cold, and then put it into the container. And if you do your yard material, like with the grass, it'll mix in with that material as well. So just a few little tips and tricks. We'll have more as we get going, but I just want to show that there is options. I want the public to know that there's ways to do it and be successful. And then the cart color transition, you're going to start seeing, that's part of the regulation, is they're standardizing container colors throughout California, so that no matter where you move in California, everybody has the same color scheme. So it's not like, oh, well, this city has brown for trash, and this, it's confusing. And so the state's going to standardize that. So trash will be black lid with gray body, which is right over here. And then recycling will have a blue lid, gray body, and then organic green lid, and with a gray body. And just always remember to check the lid if you're confused on the new ones. It has hot stamp labels on it, so it'll tell you exactly what goes into the container. And so the state gives us until 2036 to complete that full transition of new containers. And so I know some people saw the old Ben's carts out there. I know they're pretty much at their end of life. And so as those need to be swapped out and replaced, you will get this new color scheme. So you'll get these pretty little new carts. So that's exciting. There's also big changes for the business community. So not only are we changing the color scheme, you'll see there the recycling, the blue lid, and then the organic. It used to be green body with the yellow lid, but that's going to transition to the same color over here as the residential. And then our dumpsters, they have to be transferred over to different color scheme as well. So we're going to paint the bins black. So you'll start seeing that happen gradually as well. But the big change for commercial is, we used to put everything in the trash dumpster and then it would get sorted. Well, the state cracked down on that. They don't like us commingling recycling because it gets dirty and then you can't utilize it. It's not like clean recycling. So to get to that level of cleanliness, we're going to start introducing the source separated recycling. So businesses will now have another container, so a third container as well, and they'll put their cardboard and paper bottles, cans, all that into their recycling container. For commercial, it does, so with your trash service, it now includes organic part and then a recycling part as well. But if businesses, there's some that are going to need bigger containers, so dumpsters, we're working, doing a great job at contacting businesses and making sure we get them set up with the right level of service they need. So we'll be offering dumpster recycling service as well. There is a business waiver program, so not for presidents, just for businesses. So there's 3 different waivers that will be available. So there's alternative service, meaning some, like Albertsons, they have their own recycling program in place where they backhaul and do their own thing, so they wouldn't need a recycling bin, so they would qualify for an alternative service waiver. De minimis, meaning if, say for example, an auto body shop, 3 employees, no food material being generated on site, they could qualify for a de minimis waiver. And then there's some that maybe they don't have the space for another container, and we go out and do a site check and take photos and see if we can work with them on different locations. So maybe there is a point where they can't fit it in, and they would qualify for this. And it's all approved by the city of Tehachapi. The big one, too, is the smart truck technology. So this, as part of the regulation, we have to monitor contamination. We want to make sure we're getting the material as clean as possible. And so there are trucks on our cameras. There's, I think, 3 of them, one in the hopper, one on the outside, and a side camera as well. And so we can see when we're pulling up to your residence and servicing your container. And then when it goes to service your container, the contents, there's a hopper camera that shows what's being dumped from your cart. So that helps us. These are just little images of examples, but that's what it looks like in ours. And you can see the recycling has bags in there of trash. So you would eventually get notified. If it's continuous, this is only for gross contamination. We're not going to contact you if there's, one plastic bottle in the trash or, a few items. This has to be like on a continuous basis that we're seeing that you're not understanding how to utilize the containers properly. Then the city and WM will work with you to get you, education. So that's part of the regulation as well. So that will come later. We're not going to start that process right away. We're going to let everyone ease into the program and get used to it and utilize it, and then we'll eventually start educating on that. And these are just more examples of what it looks like. So that's what this cameras look like. And then we'll send a report to the city, and then they can see who's having some issues with that. Upcoming events, so the next few events we have coming up are, we have the Chamber Luncheon on June 18th, so we invite the business community and residents if they would like to come on June 18th, and we will be at the luncheon speaker. We'll also be at Farmers Market, so we have some dates up there that we will be accessible to the public for any questions about this. And you can always visit the website. We have a dedicated residential website for the residents of Tehachapi and businesses as well. So please visit those sites if you ever have questions about your service. And we're going to do some Tehachapi interviews as well, so we're excited for that. And as always, me and Frank are always here for anybody in the community. We're very accessible. So if you ever have questions or concerns, please reach out to us. Our information's right there. And we look forward to seeing you out in the community to talk about this program. Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
Do we have any comments from the public? Council?
I can see an issue probably with the elderly with their trash trying to sort it. And also, I have 1 bag of trash a week, and can I avoid the green waste by putting it down the garbage disposal?
Unfortunately, the state doesn't count that. They don't count you composting at your house. They don't count you putting it down the disposal. They're making everyone get the organic container. So, if you have yard material, anything like that.
So my gardener takes that, so I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that. But I can see some issues with people trying to understand that even if you're so good about trying to tell them, I can see that issue.
And we know there's going to be a learning curve, and so we'll just continue to work with everybody as best we can.
It's funny you asked, is anybody gonna get in the can?
I want it.
Years and years and years ago, when I was still on the council, we used to have the the city truck would come up to the house and take your trash can and put it in the back, like you see in New York City. They dump your can into the back of the trash truck and move on and move on and move on. You wouldn't believe the angst, the resistance to going to an automated can. When we did it, I forget what year it was. I think it was the first time I was mayor, and at the meeting, they brought the can in, and because people would think, well, how am I gonna get this thing around? So I hopped into the can. And we had an elderly lady, I forget her name, she was like 84 years old, and she pushed me around, because it was easy to do. But in Bakersfield, California, had an article, I was trying to find it, it said, Mayor walking, talking trash. And it had a picture of a little cartoon of a trash can with the lid open and a pair of eyes sticking out, a little cartoon, you know. But it was just the resistance to change. People didn't want some can like this in their yard because they were used to the metal can. And over the years, well, we got used to it. It's okay. So another can is just someone from this Bakersfield at the Economic Development meeting that said, look, we've been doing it for 25 years in other cities. It's not a big deal. It's just change.
Right.
You know, so if it helps, fine. And if I have another can for weeds and grass, that's good too. So that's good to know. It's
Yeah.
not just for chicken bones or
No.
something like that.
No, yeah.
Anyway,
All that.
a little side note there.
We need to get you an art thing.
That would be there. There we go. You have to get in the green room, like.
Wait a minute. You know, when this was first brought to us a couple years ago, I was totally against it. I mean, I don't produce that much trash, and I don't produce much food waste because if I am doing something wrong. Just for the two of you, you know, when you have a big family, I understand. But after I start reading everything, you know, on the pizza box there, and by the way, if you're gonna bring pizza boxes, then you should have brought. Yeah.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah. So, and I'm supporting it, actually. You know, it's gonna be a change. My big concern is, and it's still gonna be the concern, is where I live, my street goes north and south. And when the wind blows, 2 months ago, I think I shared in the council here, there was 17 cans down the end of our street in that field. And so I went down and trying to be the good neighbor and brought back 2 cans to every house. If they're wrong, who knows? You know, they're not labeled. So if we have that again, you guys are gonna have to come take care of it.
You know who to call, so.
No, so, you know, I think we just need to be more involved with our elderly neighbors and just to help them out, trying to do the good thing. So I appreciate Waste Management taking the lead on this, and I appreciate everybody on our city staff that's worked hard. I know Corey's worked on this a lot, and so I'm supporting it 100%. I don't like it, but I'm supporting it. And then, with that being said, you know, Mr. Garrett, I think we put this off, and we got an additional year, didn't we? Didn't we put this off for the city? You know, so we've done our due diligence. So now it's time to pony up and do the right thing. So appreciate all of you for what you're doing, Ashley, and the Waste Management crew. So let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Corey, do you have anything?
That's it, thank you.
Finance Director reports. Yeah, so it's on the, I need to recuse myself. Mayor Pro Tem, Clovis Board will take over. I need to recuse myself because I'm an employee of ours at the moment.
Okay, do I have any public comments regarding RSI Petroleum budget disbursement? Council? No. Do I have a motion?
I make the motion. I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilor Bichon? Yes. Councilor Rosales? Yes. Councilor Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Clovis.
Yes.
4-0 vote with the recusal from Mayor Davis.
Item 14. No, we're item 13. Yes, report, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm right, all right. Public hearing, an action order for the levy assessments within the landscaping lighting district number 1 for fiscal year 24-25. Report, please.
It's Mayor Davies, council members. This is our annual process. This is the first of 2 public hearings. This one related to landscaping and lighting district number 1. First, I'd like to ask that you open the public hearing, and then I'll provide statement.
Like to open a hearing.
You did not receive any correspondence, and the publication was on April 24th, 2024.
Do we have any staff report? I'm sorry. Thank you.
So at the April 15th council meeting, council adopted 3 resolutions. They initiated the proceedings, approved the preliminary engineer's report, and declared the intent to levy assessment, and as well as set the public hearing for tonight on May 6th. Included in this is the final engineer's report. That includes the total maintenance costs for all of the zones in the district at $940,583.25. However, due to the maximum tax in some of these zones, we can only place on the property tax bills the total amount of $407,067.06. And so the difference of about $533,000 is essentially subsidized by the city's general fund. So with that, staff recommends that you receive public comments, close the public hearing, and adopt a resolution amending and or approving the final engineer's report regarding the landscaping and lighting assessment district number 1 and the levy and collection of annual assessments related thereto for fiscal year 2024-25, and adopt a resolution ordering the levy and collection of assessments within the landscaping and lighting district number 1 for fiscal year 24-25.
Do we have any public comment? Council?
Thank you for coming.
Close the hearing.
Councilman?
I don't have a comment. So, yeah, I remember doing this, and just for everybody to know, like Ahmed has mentioned, that this is such a necessary the tax collection that city has to collect, and it's not even enough. And the city has to subsidize, and this makes our town safe and pretty and proud. So I'm not permission to do another.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chun? Yes. Councilmember Fowler?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gordon-Ford?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
5-0 vote, motion carries.
Item 15.
Yes. So before it provides staff report, if you could please open the public hearing.
Let's open a hearing, public hearing on item 15.
There was no correspondence received, and it was published on April 24th, 2024.
And I'll go and provide staff report. So this is again the same annual process. This is for the city's drainage benefit assessment district number 1 and number 1B. Similarly to the landscape and lighting district, at the April 15th meeting, council adopted 3 resolutions that initiated the proceedings, approved the preliminary engineer's report, and declared the intent to levy the assessment and set the public hearing for the total cost of that is shown in the engineer's report is $11,275.14, and in this district, the city can place the entire amount on the property tax bills. And so with that, recommend that you receive any public comment, close the public hearing, and adopt a resolution approving the annual engineer's report and ordering the levy and collection of assessments within the city of Tehachapi Drainage Benefit Assessment District number 1 and number 1B, parcel map 11353 for fiscal year 2024-25, pursuant to the provisions of the Benefit Assessment Act of 1990.
Do we have any public comment on this item? Council, close the hearing. Council comments?
This is per parcel, whether it's improved or vacant, correct?
Right.
Okay. I'll make the motion on staff's recommendation as presented on item 15.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chong? Yes. Councilmember Powell? Yes. Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Pokey? Yes. Mayor Davis?
Yes.
5-0 vote, motion carries.
Thank you, Tommy. Mr. Schlosser, Development Service Director report.
I'm back.
Yes.
All right, the second item I have for you tonight is the first reading of a proposed ordinance that seeks to amend ordinance 1904-751. And I'll read the section numbers since I got to do the whole read the title precisely thing here later. So we want to adopt, what we're looking to do is amend an ordinance relating to the city's zoning code. And so the city, ever since we adopted a new zoning code in 2014, about every 2 to 3 years, city staff has presented a series of zoning code changes, first to the planning commission and then to the council for adoption as we, that book's thick and we've been working through the operations and frankly the only way you really know whether your code works is you apply it to projects and activities that come to the city and you see what's working, what's not. And so we generally have kind of a continuing list of things that we find as we're working through the code that requires modification. So tonight I have the first of 2 zoning code updates we're working on. The second one I don't expect to have complete for another 6 months or so. But this one is a series of relatively small modifications that we thought made sense to get through the process and present to you all for consideration. So briefly I'll run through them very briefly. So stop me if something doesn't make sense. The first item is condition of approval acknowledgement form. So this is something our legal counsel provided to us as a recommended upgrade to the way we approve projects and then seek an approval from the developer. And so what this step requires under our process is that any developer that receives an approval from the planning commission or council will be required to sign a document acknowledging that they know what the rules of the game are to advance their development project. So that helps the legal team as if we ever have problems, which blessedly don't occur often but do occur, make sure that everyone's on the same page. In terms of specific amendments to the zoning code under chapter 2, that chapter of the zoning code speaks to large developments and pre-planning for large developments so that there's a requirement now to come to the planning commission with a preliminary design, so to speak. We call it a neighborhood master plan. And so we felt like we needed some language additions to that section in order to clarify what we need developers to bring and exactly what the planning commission will be looking at in those cases. Under chapter 3, we're making some very minor modifications to the R1 and T4 zones. These are residential zones. This one you guys might find really relevant. We have a little unintended consequence in our code. Churches are qualified as meeting facilities, or that's the way they're titled in our code. And meeting facilities aren't allowed in residential neighborhoods because we don't want an amphitheater in a residential neighborhood. Well, unintended. Half of the city's churches are currently in residential neighborhoods. And so the way the code is written now, you can't expand a church if it's in a residential zone. And so obviously that's not the intent of the code. We want churches to thrive in residential neighborhoods. They're a wonderful effect on the neighborhood. And so we need to correct that. And so we have some language changes to that chapter to fix that issue. Under chapter 4, we're unifying some language related to how you store a trailer or an RV on your residential property. We're not changing anything inherently. We're simply unifying the zoning code with the engineering standards that speak to how you may legally park an RV on your property. And then under chapter 10, we're updating a definition related to what's known as a non-conforming structure. That's what we do with a building that no longer fits on the property that's in. Very rare circumstance, but the example I can give, for instance, is the batch plant, concrete batch plant on Tehachapi Boulevard. You know, like if we had the town to plan all over again, we probably wouldn't put a concrete manufacturing facility on Tehachapi Boulevard. Those can be non-conforming structures. They're legal. They may remain. This change has no impact on an active business in the city whatsoever. But if a business goes inactive for over 1 year, then regulations affect that, becomes a non-conforming structure, and we regulate how we address that concern. So we're updating those, and then we have a few definition updates in Chapter 11. So that's a summary of what we're talking about. Happy to answer specific questions. My recommendation is that you introduce an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Tehachapi amending ordinance number, I'm going to read the whole thing because we need to do it by title, amending ordinance number 1904-751 in chapters 210-030, 320-060, 330-040, 450-020, 1030-020, 1110-020, and a recommendation to adopt the conditions of approval acknowledgement form. So that concludes my report.
Do we have any questions from the public on this regarding this matter? Council? Good.
I'm not sure if I've seen pedestrian shed network used before. Would you, it says in the master plan that,
Sure.
is this something new?
It's a concept. It's been around for a little while. It's been around since we adopted the code in 2014. It's a new planning concept. In short, it's defined in our code. It's that
like a bus stop?
No, well, it can be. It is that there are amenities within walking distance of residential neighborhoods. So one of the planning goals in the general plan and the zoning code is to create walkable communities. Well, to be walkable, you have to be near something. It's a simple concept, but I can create a community with a bunch of sidewalks that's 2 miles from a school, a park, a restaurant, or anything. You can't walk to anything. Great, I have sidewalks there, but it's not walkable to anything. So pedestrian shed is the concept associated with designing your neighborhoods around something, be it a park or a new school or a small concentration of commercial development so people can walk to get their gallon of milk or something like that. And so the ped shed concept is an expectation that at initial design layout, when we're going to subdivide 100 acres and make it into a neighborhood, that we think this stuff through, and we plan those out so people want to live there.
It's just an odd
It's
combination
a
of pedestrian
shed network. Yeah,
sounds
I understand
a
that.
collegiate, somebody's thesis came up.
That's exactly how that happened.
Right.
It's also known as a transect zone, if you prefer me to use that. So that's, anyway, yeah.
So you don't want just a bunch of streets and sidewalks going to nowhere?
Just circling themselves, yeah.
You want it walkable,
Yeah.
people have a place to sit down.
How it most commonly occurs is, a fire substation, a park, a school. Those are the kind of common ways where you meet that requirement, is you design your neighborhood around something like that. School's being a big one, right? So you can, neighborhoods, you can walk to school.
A park.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right, it just kind of.
It's an odd term, yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
So,
It was an introduction.
I'll make
Okay,
a motion
thank you.
to introduce.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Councilor Thomas? Yes. Councilor Fowler? Yes. Councilor Smith?
Yes.
Chairperson Billingsley? Yes. Mayor Davis?
Yes.
5-0 votes to approve the first reading of an ordinance as read by title.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
City manager report, Mr. Harris.
Nothing to do with it.
Council member reports.
I just wanted to say that awesome project, the pickle court. My my intention is to go there and learn how to play pickleball. It's an awesome project. Just like a BK theater, that's gonna be another jam in the city.
Yes, I go by and check the pickleball courts to make sure there's people on them every now and then. During the wind, there wasn't too many, but anyway. Also, I'm delighted to see the progress on the Valley Park. It's beautiful, and I'm in agreement would look like that. And also excited for the BK to be expanding. I think that's overdue. And in '72, I really thought that we would not have a theater like we do. It's beautiful for our community. I'm a theater goer ever since I've been like 5. My mom was taking us because she loved theater, so I'm glad to see that.
I'm super excited with BK. Not only are this addition is going to be beneficial, but I also saw that you ran the Murder on the Orient Express an additional run because it was so heavily requested. Congratulations. Total feather in your cap, Mr. Carhart. It was
beautiful set. You did a great job, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do. And Key, thank you very much for recognizing that this community needed and wanted pickleball, and just in public works, I don't see great event. This community is really amazing. There's so many reasons why we love Tehachapi, but the sense of community here that you helped create is one of those reasons. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Tori and I are already scoping out new football courts. Future pickleball court.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Just echo what Councilmember Ford said about the park. It's things like that that we think about years in advance. We get plans, staff has been working on, and we have vacant properties, it's private typically. What can we do with it if it's just sitting there? You know, it's a perfect spot for a little pocket neighborhood. It's, they don't have a park in that area. And then with the store that was dormant there, the Valley Foods used to be, and, owners don't always take care of their property, and it had to be demolished literally. Anyway, the park's gonna be such a nice addition to that neighborhood. It's nice to see 10 years of planning, or whenever we kind of envision something actually come to fruition. So that's going to be a nice addition. It's kind of cool.
That's just positive on everything that everybody's talked about. Pickleball courts, my wife and I went and bought our equipment Saturday, so we're going to be out there. Keith's been bugging me for 2 years to get out there, and so we get it. So we're going to be out there. It's going to be cool. And then the BK Theater, this is like a wonderful gym in our neighborhood. And if you haven't been there, you need to go. I don't know what's next. Anybody, what's the next?
That's the Broadway.
Okay. Good, everybody knows.
It's a surprise.
But it's just an awesome, just part of our community, and to see what it brings joy to everybody, and especially right downtown. It's just awesome. It's an awesome event.
My little guy, or he's not a little guy, he's gonna be a big guy, but, he already has his pickleball racket. I'm gonna give it a try, and he needs to be active, so I'm excited to see him indulge.
All right, if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn for closed session, and if there's anything to report, one of us will come back to report.